Hello everybody, good morning. My name is Vishwadeep and I welcome you all on Unacademy Computer Science channel for unlimited learning. As I promised you all that we will bring lots of guests on our channel for your experience, for your learning, so that you can learn from their experiences, you can learn from their achievements, plus you can learn from their expertise. Today along with us, we have our guest Nikhil Kumar Malukani. We will know about him. We will know lots of things about him and from him definitely. But before we start, just tell me first that my audio and video everything is proper or not. Can you please confirm my audio and video everything is fine or not, so that we can immediately start talking. And definitely one more thing, I will promise that if you have really good question, please drop those also in the comments, so that I can take those questions and we can have the help of our expert from a really big prestigious company and a big prestigious college to share his views on this particular thing. चलिए तो सबसे पहले चलेंगे, प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ सर.
Hi Vishwadeep. So myself Nikhil Malukani. I am currently working in Amazon as a senior software developer, and I have been with Amazon for 5 years. I've done my masters from ISC along with your Vishwadeep sir. So yeah, it has been quite a long journey for me. I have a total of 9 years of experience, and worked with a lot of different companies, and have been exposed. I've been worked with a lot of different technologies also.
Okay, so as you heard about him, working currently as a senior software engineer with Amazon, as the title of the video also says, person's life, a software engineer's life in Amazon USA. Of course, the person, the guest, our guest is working in Amazon in USA. But before knowing about the Amazon or knowing about more things, let me straight away ask few questions which you guys have always for a person who is working in the industry. The very first question comes into the mind is how much the skills which you acquire in the college help us in the industries. How you take that particular thing?
So lot of skills that you develop in college are relatable, like mainly the concepts. So basically, I would stress on for each and everyone to understand the concepts rather than just going through the subjects. I would say like data structures and system analysis and design. How does the operating system work, and how does everything happen? It does help. So those are the concepts which really help you in day-to-day life. I mean, when you build something, and if something goes wrong into the real-time system, if you are aware of this knowledge that okay, this is the thing, this is how the Linux system works, or this is how the things are work in the Java world, or this is how the data structure work. It really helps you to basically smoothen your task when you are working and performing in the different organizations.
Okay, so as our guest says that definitely all those subjects which you learn today, you will have to understand the concept and you'll have to understand how actually the things work. Why? Just because you will need the knowledge of operating systems, maybe computer organization architecture, data structures, algorithms to actually help you in your industry experience. That definitely that will help all the learners, so all the learners can definitely give more attention to the concepts and to learning rather than just mugging up the topics. Okay, a few more questions, Nikhil, we have for you. Next question I do have is, what technology students should focus in their college time? Let's say a person is preparing for gate exam, just because so many learners we do have here, all those learners are preparing almost for gate exam, and they are confused that, sir, should we go for skill development also right now, or should we more focus right now on the gate exam only? What to do, we are not understanding. So lots of confusion they have, what they should focus mostly.
So if you are going, so there are two different things when you go for a master's. First of all, you should be clear with your aim, what you want to do, whether you want to be in the same field of pursue your higher studies like doing MTech, PhD, and in those fields, that is completely different. And if you want to come towards the industry track, then there are different sets of skills that you need to work on. So first thing I would say that you should determine what you want to do. If your goal is to go towards the industry side, then you should try to take up the subjects and skills in the masters and understand those, which helps you to work on into those directions in the organization. So so there are two different things that you need to first of all clear out. Now there is something called machine learning, where people can go more towards masters and then learn about a lot of different technology, learn about machine learning, and then become a scientist, applied scientist, as well as a machine learning scientist. But if you are looking only for software developer, then there are different sets of skills, like you understand data structure more, you understand, and computer organizations and operating system. Majorly to data structure would be the way to go. The skills would be there, and also problem solving is the much needed one if you are going to the industry. So based on what is your target, whether you are going to go for higher studies, then I would say go towards more in depth of those expertise like machine learning and then neural networks and those things. Whereas if you are targeting your career into the organization towards it, I would say a different set of skills like data structures and computer organization. Those would be really helpful.
Okay, so you clearly heard the same thing which we used to tell you always, and the industry experience is also saying the same thing, that you will have to first decide your goal. If your goal is clear that you want to go for gate, then provide your more attention towards that. Of course, you will be lacking against lots of members, but there those members who are preparing for placements or who are preparing only directly to work in the industry, they have different set of goals, and you are having a different set of goals, so you cannot cover up every single thing in the limited time. So if your target is gate, prepare for it, crack the gate, go for the masters. During the master you can acquire all the set of skills, later on you can acquire all the set of skills. But if your goal is to go directly to the industry, then industry oriented courses or certifications you can go for. One more question comes from here is, how much weightage in the interviews or maybe in the placement procedure these certifications are having? Like students are thinking, sir, I'll go for this certification, that certification, Java certification, Oracle certification, machine learning certification, these are having weightage, or your skills are enough that you have the knowledge, but if you don't have the certification then also it can work? What's your take on it?
So I would say so certification is something which is I would say skills are much gets more weightage than certification. Certification is something which you can do it, and it's for if it's your interest to go for the certification and then have it. It's not needed actually, and it's not the requirement for any kind of if you want to go for industry. Industry just looks for the skill. I can take a simple example that in Amazon at least we have some program running which is called Amazon developer. I forgot the complete name, but ADA program is there, where a completely non-computer background person who hasn't worked in any kind of programming or anything, a person who is completely from different background, he might be from a banking or something or anything. They are trained for 6 months, and they get a they are experienced. They are given in the training in the Java technologies and everything, and then they are given the on internship to work on. And recently within our team we converted one of the intern into the full time. So it was completely so learning. As I told. Learning skills is the most important thing. If you learn what if you understand how to code and what are the syntaxes, what is a database, what is a how does it what individual technology is used for, why database is used for, why the other why the uh, other technologies would be much more useful. That way, it really helps. So, so that's what I would say. Skills are more important than the certification. Certification is it's upon your interest. If you want, you can go for it, but it's not a requirement.
That's great. So all the learners who are here live, just listen that certification is not needed if you have the good skills. Now I would like to ask you guys, if you have some questions also, then definitely you can drop those questions in the comment and I will definitely take those questions from our guest. Few more questions I will ask. One question is, let's say a person directly from the college, maybe after the master or maybe after the btech, goes for the industry, then what is the experience of a fresher in the company and how that fellow should approach his first 1 year or 2 year in the industry to reach to really higher level? So what should be exactly the target of a person in first 2 years of employment?
So the first 2 years, you should, I mean, as you are as you go into the industry, you are fresh into it. That's where I somehow feel that the freshers are, they bring a kind of the energy, the new energy and the risk taking ability that they show. They seem to be, I would say, really. Would say there is a word saying that okay, they are not afraid of anything, for going out and then trying out things. So when you are going to fresh, be open mind, try to express yourself, but main thing, learn and be curious. You should always acceptable and understand what things are there. Listen, you should be a good listener. You should listen to the things and how the what things are there. It's not that every time the person who are already senior, or maybe the experienced developers, they might be right, but at least you should listen to them. You should show the activeness, and you should not be I mean, you should not be afraid of trying out the things and doing it the fast pace. I would say be be take the ownership and then come up with the ideas and then try to do it, implement. It's good to fail. It's it's always keep in mind. It's not that I'm telling you to fail, but it's always good. You should take learnings from that. So be vigilant. If you are seeing something can be tried out, and even if it fails, but be go with the backup plan and then be on the foot. So as I told, being a fresher, you should always be, you have a fresh energy that you bring, you have a high risk taking thing. So you can utilize those things because you are fresh, you can come up with a lot of ideas. That's what I would
Okay,
say.
so the clear idea we could take from the last question is, you guys will be very, very fresh. So you will be having an approach which will be fearless. So you can try out anything, you can go and learn every single thing. You should be having a focus of learning. तो ऐसा नहीं सोचना है कि अरे बस जॉब लग गया है अब मुझे नहीं करना कुछ. That will not help certainly in your industry. Otherwise, you will not have a really good growing career. And first 2 years are very, very important. Everybody knows that. So first 2 years in the industry, you'll have to work harder and harder so that you can have a settled learning. Plus on that learning and on that experience, on the top of that, definitely you can go ahead. Few more questions we are having for you. The first question is, uh, exactly, you have worked in the established company like Robert Bosch and like Amazon right now, kind of established, plus kind of a startup also, and you have worked in some startups also like Tribo, as I know, Snapdeal. So what is the difference between these two work styles? Like in the established company, what kind of work style is there and what kind of work style is there in the startups? How these two differ?
The main major difference between the startup and the established company would be the process. The established country organizations would have throughout their experience and throughout their journey of becoming an established, they would have settled certain kind of process. So at times in the established companies, uh, the major difference would, I would say, that because there is a process, you need to adhere those process, and sometimes things might be little slow than what is expected in startup. In startup, everything would go at a really fast pace. It's like I would say it's like 2020 and so at times 50-50 or estimates. That's the difference that you can take it as an analogy. So in startup it will be completely T2020. In every day you will be like a grilled and you have to work on top of everything. At times you have to stretch a lot. So the main experience that I liked about startup is you get to learn a lot. You get to learn a lot. You get to work on different technologies, and you become fearless because there is you to try to make so fast so many changes that are prone to error, and that's how you fail and learn fast. So if people are really, I would say people want to give a challenge and want to learn a lot in shorter time, go for startup. But if your appetite is no, I want to learn at slow pace and I want to understand the things and then gradually why this was built and then apply for it, I would say go for established, because they will give you the time to understand their processes and understand their systems which are huge. You cannot in startup you can break something and you can quickly build on it, but in established companies, because there are processes and everything, you cannot just go ahead and build something in the production at overnight. It takes times, approval and process, and things get released during a period of time which are longer. That's how the planning is being done. Whereas in startup, things will release every day. You might be releasing something. So I would say based on the preference. If someone likes the T20 match more, go for startup. It's a different kind of an experience, and you will enjoy if you're that kind of person. But being an experience, I prefer the established because there is a process, and you know that this is how the things would work out. Slowly and gradually, you will get to know uh, the things how they
So
work out.
you all could understand now easily that what exactly your character is. Based on your character, you will have to choose a company. If your character is to work hard, non-stop, constantly, and you can definitely, if work more than whatever your appetite of work is, then definitely you can go for a startup. It will give you lot of earning and learning opportunity, plus it will give you a fast track learning opportunity. But if you want to have a little bit established career, slow paced learning, that okay fine, if we will not go harder on ourselves also, then you can go for a established company. Yes, one more. Sure.
One thing to add here.
Yeah.
So there is something called 50-50 also in
Yeah.
one day international.
Correct.
So you can go to companies like Facebook, there's Amazon and different, where you can get both kind of flavors. So at times you will be working at the really fast pace, and at times you will be working at a slow pace. And being in a bigger organization, that's an advantage that you can choose to be in a different kind of teams. There can be different teams which we might be working a lot of fast paced changes, and there will be a teams where the things would be slow. So that's the advantage of going into, again as I told, companies where both kind of flavors are available. If you so the way you should transition it, if you have an appetite, you can go for directly for the Amazon kind of an organization where you get both kind of things. You can choose the teams and then go into whatever is that. So again, you have industry is full of different kind of organization, and based on what you want to work on, you'll surely get an opportunity. So you
Okay.
should decide what kind of things you want to work on.
So exactly, so our guest also saying the same thing. It's my opinion also that it's totally up to you that what exactly you want to do. If you want to work on fast-paced work, then go for a startup. If you want to work very established one, easygoing, little bit easygoing, not much, then you can go for a established company, or you can go into a mid cap kind of company where you will have all the type of work you can select. You can select a particular team to work on. A team is working on very fast pace, a team is working on a little bit slower pace, so you can even jump or hop through these teams, and you can have a little bit balanced work. Few more questions, and then definitely we will learn a lot from you through those questions also. Next question I would like to have about your experience in Amazon. So I guess you are working in Amazon since last 3 years, and as far as I know, your experience was good enough to make an impact on the learner. So how an engineer feels in Amazon as a software developer engineer?
So in Amazon, that's where I feel that you have a really vast. Um, it's kind of a sea. So you can go and look out for a lot of things, and whatever piques your interest. So as my career started in Amazon, as I told, I had already seen the culture of established company where things were process oriented, and kind of things where just wanted to add one thing is being in an established company, it just does give you job security. So that's an added thing if you're going for a job security. I would say go for the established one because startups will give you that you never know, but the learnings will always be helpful. So with the Amazon, as I had already taken the experience of established and the startup, I was quite prepared for it. But when I started, it was a different ballgame because uh, things in each organization work completely different, and they have their own process and tools for working it. So initially, I took some time to settle myself to understand those things, and uh, that's the good thing about established. They give you time to settle and to understand things, and then they expect you to perform. So whereas in startup, the ramp up time has to be real quick, and you have to start performing as soon as possible. So within Amazon, as I told initially, for some time I understood the whole infrastructure and the systems how they work, and it has given me a lot of opportunities. And that's where the one good thing about Amazon has been that whatever piques your interest, you can reach out to the team and then you can and work with them, work out a thing with them. Um, so if you like to be work on, so being in Amazon, the amount of different things you can work on. You have Alexa, you have AWS, you have retail systems, you have different devices systems, whatnot. So that's as I told, it's a scene, and whatever fish you like, you try, you want to catch in on, you can go and catch it. So that's the advantage of working with a big organization as well as an organization where you have a lot of things for your career to interest. Initially, when I started my career with Bosch, it was IoT, where I was mostly working on devices and how the Internet of Things work. Now in Amazon, there is IoT, but I'm currently working on the retail, where I'm mostly working on for the customers, how 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 we can make sure that the customer's journey is as smooth as possible. So, as I told, whatever piques your interest, surely that the Amazon can provide you with things of it.
So we have a very very interesting point here. Amazon is everywhere. You want to work on cloud, Amazon is there. If you want to work in retail industry, it is there. If you want to work on the devices, it is there. If you want to work on customer experiences, it is there. So Amazon is everywhere. Wherever you want, you can work on. That is a very very comfortable thing which a company can provide you. Means as the experienced person says, our guest says that if you want to work on a specific thing, you can reach out to the team, you can show your interest to them, and definitely you can work on them. Means whatever gives you more and more and more happiness to work on, you can work on those things. Few more questions which will definitely help our learners. Can a person of India, a student from India, directly can get a job in Amazon USA, or first that fellow will have to start working in Amazon India? So what is the procedure to reach to USA in Amazon from an Indian student or for an Indian student?
So, unfortunately, for an Indian student, it's not a restriction from the company side. It's a restriction from the government and the policies side. So, from US point of view, you have to be either an MS from US student from from MS done from the US universities, so that you can be hired by a US companies, or you can transfer as an specialized software engineer or specialist where you show that you have worked for a company offshore in India, you have acquired those knowledge, and because those knowledges are specific, because as I told, every established company have their own processes and tools to work on. If if uh, if things don't if you are aware of how things work and processes work, it reduces the ramp up time. So that's where a student, if they want to work in US, as I told, the MS doing a master's from US would surely help, because that's the way people go to masters in US, and, and they get an offer from the US companies. If not, it's not that it's not a way. You can always, as others do, and as I have done it, you have to work for the company. You have to get specialized knowledge about how the things work, and then surely your internal transfer, where organization will try for your to bring you, where if you like another team, and let's say you are interested in some other team to work. Now that you have to spend at least 1 or 2 years into the offshore to understand the process and everything, and then show them. That's not the requirement from the organization. That's the requirement from the US policy side. So I would say, if you want to do it, you have to stay in a particular organization, and then from there, there might be certain requirements, rules, and policies. Once you eligibility criteria is met, then only you will be able to transfer.
So you understood that how to reach to USA in Amazon. If you are doing your MS from US University, directly you will be able to apply for US companies, or you work in India in a company where you can show your caliber, your skill set, and you can show to the company that yes, you can work in USA now, just because your requirement over there is too much. So show them that company is dependent on your skill set, on you, and definitely the company will think to send you there in those specific teams. Fine. So one last
Just
remark. Yes,
sorry,
please. Yeah.
just wanted to add something. So again, there is not there is no involvement of company. I think it all depends on the policy and the government. And if the government of US and everything says that no, there are nothing, we cannot allow it. So neither the company can do anything, and not you can do anything. So it all depends on the policies and the government also. So that's a major factor that everyone needs to understand if you are targeting for US.
So you understand all these points. Definitely you understand this particular point, that major factor of you working in US is dependent on the government policies also. So you will have to read and study all those policies, and then after that you will have to have a plan to go over there. Fine. So we will have last remark from our guest. So any last point or any specific advice if you want to give to those students who are in college and targeting for the masters or product based companies, what advice you can give them?
It, uh, yeah, so the major advice would be to, is it to focus more on, I mean, as always, uh, all of your teachers and sir, I mean, just like Vishwadeep might have told you, focus on the concepts, and make sure that you are aware of it. It's not more often just reading it or just realizing this. You have to understand where could be applicable. You should understand the applications of all those things. Like, for simple example, why in this problem, what could be the appropriate way to solve it? Which technology might be helpful, or like if simple I say which data structure might be helpful. So if you are aware of the concept, that will really help you. The technologies will keep on changing. Today there will be some technology, tomorrow there will be some other technology. When I started, I was not aware of anything which is called big data technologies, but then I got learn about it on job. So the major thing, so if you want to get a job or go into any kind of a product based company, the major requirement would be to understand the data structures, problem solving. Those are the two major factors. If you are able to understand when to use which data structure and the problem solving skills, like there are tons of uh, websites which help you to work on those things. So if you, again, just remember, these are just to, the more you do this, the more it helps you. You don't use, so you work on them in such a way that on your regular job you inherently try to use them. It's not that you force your way, okay, now what should I use, which, how could I relate this to this problem, because you have worked on this data structure and problem solving on lots of time. It comes inherent on your job and you are using them like just on the whip. So I would say focus on the basics and concepts. That will really help you.
So, all the fellas to whom I always tell you that focus on learning rather than just mugging up the concepts. Understand where you can apply these concepts in the real world, practical world. When the real problem comes to you, you will have to learn that what data structure or what concept which you learned is more helpful in these scenarios. If you learn that, the practicality, the implementation part of that particular concept, definitely it will help. चलिए तो that would be the end of our session. Thank you so much all the learners to join here and listening this session. Definitely I would think that you will learn a lot from this session and you will get lot of idea about the company work environment, skill set, and what kind of skill set you should build towards the company work. And thank you so much our guest Nikhil, who has given us his precious time so that we all can learn from him. Once again, thank you so much all the learners, and thank you so much Nikhil.